Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The Chinese are ruling China. Japanese ruling Japan. Ambazonia wants to rule Ambazonia, what we call this former British Southern Cameroons. We want to rule it from the Mongol to Inkambe. Thank you for tuning in tonight and welcome to this very special broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. If you are joining from ground zero, we thank you for tuning in. If you are in the diaspora from North and South America, thank you for tuning in. If you are in Europe, I welcome you. In Asia, the Middle East, thank you for tuning in. This is where you will find dependable news and developments on the struggle in the southern Cameroons against La République du Cameroon. I'd like you to go ahead as usual and hit your share button because this is going to be a show in a very different format, and I'd like you to go ahead and quickly hit your share button. Let us make sure that this platform is saturated because the news that I bring to you is so very important, ladies and gentlemen. I want to see the numbers jumping. If you have just joined, please make sure you hit the share button. Send it to your WhatsApp groups. Send it to all your Facebook pages and groups and to every fora or forum on WhatsApp. I will be right back. Don't touch your remote. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for staying put, and please go ahead and hit your share button. Let us as quickly as possible saturate this platform. Let us count at least 500 people before I bring you this very special presentation about the need for a referendum for Ambazonia. We have heard of so many narratives out there. Some people say, oh no, we only need negotiations. Some others say, no, a referendum is not good, but what is good is a plebiscite. I don't know what is the difference between the two, ladies and gentlemen. I would like them to give us a difference. Every time a referendum or plebiscite has been used, it is used interchangeably. So if somebody is out there telling you, no, a referendum is not good, what is good is a plebiscite, then you know they don't understand the terminology. There is just no difference between the two. When you look at countries that have gained their independence, they always did so with through a referendum. If you know of any country that got independence with a plebiscite, it would be very interesting. Ambazonia did not gain independence by plebiscite, isn't it? That was not that the plebiscite did not give us independence. It was an opinion sought after the people of the southern Cameroons as to what they wanted to do, whether to join Nigeria or to join La République du Cameroon. That is what that plebiscite was all about. That is what it was all about. And do not also be mistaken that the referendum of 1972 was not an internationally supervised referendum, and it had nothing to do with independence. Instead, if we had any independence, that referendum of 1972 took it away. It eradicated it. The referendum of 1972 was about changing the constitution from the federal constitution to a unitary constitution. The day that La République du Cameroon killed us, and talking about that, that day is coming up, and La République du Cameroon, they are making very serious preparations to make sure you go out and celebrate the day that you vomited out already, 20th May. I'm going to be talking about that, but please, before I get there, again, this is going to be very, very exciting. Hit your share button and let us quickly populate this platform before I bring you this special presentation. Again, hit your share button, send it to Facebook, all your groups and pages on Facebook. Some of you have like 3 different pages and none of them bears your name in that place. That's interesting, right? And you can imagine that the naysayers and the saboteurs are out there probably nagging their teeth now and wondering what I am going to say. Please try to get them on the platform to know I am here and I have something to say, and I really wish they are here to listen to it. Also, make sure that you send the link, forward the link on all your WhatsApp groups. Forward it to all your WhatsApp groups before I come to you. But why I wait for that? Why I wait for you to go ahead hitting your share button, ladies and gentlemen. Something happened on ground zero yesterday, dawning today. When we came here, we promised La République du Cameroon that this war cannot stay in our territory alone. We promised them this war must be taken over to La République du Cameroon. This morning, they got up wailing an attack that brought down at least 5 of their soldiers. And that attack took place in the town or village they call Matoke. Matoke. Some people are spelling Matoke as M-A-T-O-K-E. No, Matoke is in literal. It is spelled M-A-T-O-U-K-I, U-K-E. That is it. And so you can see the images. These are the images, ladies and gentlemen, coming from La République du Cameroon today. And according to their own report, at least 5 of their soldiers were brought down, and we have seen images of the ARF in Fako demonstrating and celebrating the harvest from this attack in La République du Cameroon. So this is again what took place in the Cameroon today. I cannot bring you elaborate images from this event because Facebook is then going to shut us down. But that is what is happening from the restoration fighters in Fako, who said that Fako was dead. Fako is back to life. It is back to life, and you can see the firepower for all. I mean, about one month now, you have seen Fako under fire. Fako under fire. We are hoping that other counties, we also see Meme has been under fire. We hope that Mezam will pick up. Manu has been trying also. I just hope that they can step it up. We'll hope to see. I mean, Bui, of course, he's the best. Bui has been doing a great job, ladies and gentlemen. They are the county, Bui is the county that has been keeping us going, keeping the flag up. I think in this case, we can say that Fako at the moment is coming second only to Bui. FACO is doing a great job. We will keep on spreading the fire. We will keep on spreading the fire, and we are urging individual Ambazonians, you do not have to belong to the ARF to fight for your country. You can stand up, constitute a team of 2 or 3, and just go ahead and do your own work. We are here in the diaspora. This interim government is here to support you to defend your country. Again, you don't have to wait for the ARF to do some of this work. Wherever you live, in whatever neck of the wood in which you live, you can stand up and defend your people and defend your liberties, your freedoms, and your territory. We are urging every Ambazonian in every county and every local government area, stand up to La République du Cameroon invading soldiers. You have the right to defend yourselves. Again, we want to thank the ARFs in FACO for carrying out this act of bravery that brought down French Cameroon terrorist occupying soldiers in our territory. Now they know that we will come after them whenever and wherever we can in their own territory. In their own territory, we will do so. And I just hope that La République du Cameroon takes this message. I think a day or two ago, the general was in Bamenda promising to subdue Ambazonians by all means. By all means. There is no way. I hope that you in La République, you are listening to me. There is no way you are going to subdue 8 million Ambazonians. It is not possible. Even those who are not supporting this war today financially, they will rise up. They will rise up if need be to say, no, we are not giving up. We are not surrendering. We will not allow you to conquer us, because we know that has always been your plan, to conquer the southern Cameroons, make it French territory. The moment for our awakening is here, and we are never going back again to what we used to be with La République du Cameroon. So again, thank you so much, the restoration fighters in FACO, for this wonderful job. You carried out in Matoke today against French invading Cameroon soldiers. Let me go back to the subject of 20th May, ladies and gentlemen. The interim government is declaring a 3-day lockdown of the entire Ambazonia. Again, we are declaring a 3-day lockdown of the entire Ambazonia beginning Thursday, May the 17th, or May 18th. Thursday, May 18th through Saturday, May 20th. Now, this lockdown coincides with the so-called 20th May celebrations. Now, what is 20th May all about? We all know it. It's a day, I mean, when I used to live back home and working with Albert Mokong always loved to go out and campaign and say, let 20th May be declared a national day of mourning. You will go around the churches and campaign for fasting and mourning and prayers every 20th May. Because Albert Mokong knew that 20th May was the day we surrendered our sovereignty completely to La République du Cameroon. 20th May was their so-called date of referendum, in which they took off the federal constitution and replaced it with that name, United Republic of Cameroon. United Republic of Cameroon. And dealt away with our identity, our heritage, our culture, and everything that you can imagine. And since then, they have been trying as hard as they can to destroy everything of ours, our language, our educational system, our political system, our culture. They have eroded all the powers of our chiefs to the extent The head of all the chiefs is now in Yaoundé. The chief of chiefs, the fount of funds is in Yaoundé. It's not in Bamenda. It's not in Libya. It's not anywhere else. It's in Yaoundé. That is how far they eroded. They eroded our institutions, ladies and gentlemen. All beginning 20th May 1972. Now, you will all recall that at the beginning of this crusade for a free Ambazonia, we banned every Cameroon instituted National Day. And of course, 20th May was not left out. We will never leave again to celebrate any 20th May in our territory. Now, this is what is going on at the moment. You will realize that all over Ambazonia now, almost in every small village, there are Cameroon troops present, sent there recently. Many people don't know what they are doing. What is happening is Cameroon is trying to enforce the celebration of 20th May so that finally the world can get the message that the war is over. The war is over. Life is back. Ambazonians love Cameroon. Southern Cameroonians love one and indivisible Cameroon. They want as many people as possible to show up at every celebration ground to celebrate 20th May. I want to make this appeal to every parent and every school out there. Any school that is found taking part in any 20th May celebration in Ambazonia will be shut down. Every cultural group that is found celebrating 20th May in Ambazonia will be forever banned until this war is over. Again, every institution of learning and every cultural group found performing dances on this occasion of so-called 20th May in our territory will be banned. The schools will be shut down. If you dare send out your students, your kids, to go out conducting any march past on 20th May, we are warning Ambazonians, please, if you do not want to forever remain slaves, second-class citizens as we are all called, please stay home on 20th May. Again, beginning Thursday, May the 18th, through Saturday, 3 days lockdown. Ambazonia will all be shut down. No business activity, nothing going on, no Okada on the street. We will set the example for anyone who venture onto the streets and the roads. Listen to me carefully, I mean this. We will set an example of the unfortunate ones that try to breach this law and walk and want to go out, ride the Okada, all those Bamalikis and Mbunda guys who think that they can go out and contravene any decision from us. We are waiting for you in Nkwen, in my 4, my 5, my 6, Mancom, anywhere you are, Victoria, Kumba. We are looking out for you. So please, Ambazonia, listen to me. Cameroon is trying to play the fast one on all of us. 20th May is the reason we have been fighting and they killing our people for the last 7 years. It was all because of 20th May. Because I believe if the federal institution had stayed in place as agreed in 1961 when we joined them, we kept our federal house, we kept our government, we kept our institutions, we probably wouldn't be here today. But we are here today because slowly but surely they try to eradicate everything that is the Southern Cameroons. And that was done or accomplished on 20th May 1972. And then they made it a celebration for you. Can you imagine you celebrate 20th May in the Southern Cameroons? They don't celebrate it in French Cameroon. They make you to celebrate your day of slavery. Let's grow up, ladies and gentlemen. They make us to celebrate our day of slavery. So again, Lockdown is declared May the 18th, Thursday, May the 18th to Saturday, the 20th May proper, which is May 20th, is only 3 days, only for 3 days. And so when we announce this thing this early, we're hoping that everybody on the ground, please do what you can to have enough food, enough water, enough everything at home before Thursday, May 18th. The restoration forces will enforce this. They will enforce this. So don't take anything for granted. Do not take anything for granted, no matter the level of troops that La République du Cameroon post to the ground, post to Ambazonia, everywhere, every village, every town and city in Ambazonia. This lockdown will be enforced. It will be enforced to the letter. So please, we're pleading with you to understand with us that once in a while, we would have to have some of these sacrifices to let the international community know we have nothing to do with one and indivisible Cameroon, that we have left. I call it a debt. Some people call it a marriage. I call it a debt. It wasn't a marriage. When you have a marriage, there is at least a marriage certificate. Where is a marriage certificate between Cameroon and Ambazonia? None exists. But when you have a date, two people just agree to come and live together until the day that they decide to part their ways. And that is exactly what we are seeing in our case. There was no marriage. It was a date. Ambazonian, Southern Cameroons and French Cameroon agreed to live together until today. That will now say too many irreconcilable differences. We have to part ways, and we are parting ways right now. So 20th May, ladies and gentlemen, in all of Ambazonia will be a non-event. It will be a non-event. We are pleading with you. This is not some punishment. We don't just call lockdowns unnecessarily. But I think if any day deserves a lockdown, it is 20th May. It is 20th May. Thank you for respecting that. This is what I am going to do today. This is going to be a broadcast in a different format. I'm going to bring you this very critical message, which I title The Need or the Reason for a Referendum. And then after that, I will open the phone lines and take a few questions from you all over the globe. If you are listening from America, from Canada, from the UK, from France, Germany, from the Middle East, from Israel, wherever you are, from ground zero, please, the phone lines will be open for you to ask a few questions. The reason I am doing this, I thought I was going to come here and just present an address to Ambazonia. But because I will not be here for the rest of the week, I thought I should open the phone lines and take some questions after the presentation. Now, this presentation was previously recorded today, of course, today. So after the presentation, I will come back to you. I will come back to you with I will open the phone lines. I mean to say, I will open the phone lines and take your questions. So please stay put. When I am back, I will be shooting straight into that presentation. Don't touch your remote, but make sure keep on hitting the share button. Keep on hitting your share button, please. I'll be right back. begin the referendum we need is the subject of this monologue. Last Monday, April the 24th, some Ambazonian groups, including yours truly, representing the interim government, and stakeholders in their own rights, met in Washington, D.C. at the invitation of the Hudson Institute. Top on the agenda was getting all stakeholders, groups or individuals to agree on a resolution that can quickly bring the conflict to an end. Also in the agenda was unity and collaboration in messaging, especially when related to the international community. In assembling or hosting the leaders and stakeholders of Ambazonia, the Hudson Institute felt that if all are seen to be speaking and channeling the same message, the possibilities are higher that our message can have more traction, contrary to when groups and stakeholders communicated in the past unilaterally. But again, the biggest agenda point was finding out the fairest, easiest, and enduring solution to the 7-year conflict. The subject of referendum was suggested by our host as not only the quickest way to end the conflict, but equally the one method easily marketable to the international communities and partners. The subject was put to a rigorous and spirited debate. All the 14 participants, that is, with the exception of our observers, everybody had an opportunity to make contributions to the subject. Every Ambazonian in the meeting agreed to the idea of a referendum. We agreed that it is the route most needful at this moment for Ambazonians to pursue. The consensus was so unanimous that a vote was not needed to arrive at it. The meeting did not discuss the modalities for such a referendum. However, it was agreed that such modalities will be made only after further wide consultations with the Ambazonian people. The quorum was certainly too small to handle the subject, and besides, it would have been a rush discussing modalities in a 3-hour meeting. That wasn't going to be possible. As you know, the efforts out there to sabotage it. But what does this idea of a referendum not do? Listen to me. It is imperative that we understand what the idea of this referendum does not seek to do. This referendum does not seek to deny by any way or means the independence granted the former British Southern Cameroons in United Nations Resolution 1608 of 1961. However, we are agreed that many things have changed ever since Cameroon's crusade of trying to integrate us into their country started. The referendum does not seek to deny the fact that there are no articles of union between La République du Cameroun and the Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia. Rather, it merely acknowledges that the two countries have lived together as in dating, or a man and a woman dating, but that over the years there have grown to be so many irreconcilable differences, triggering the need for the people of the Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia to back out of the date, and that their voices must be heard. This referendum idea does not mean that we are against a negotiated process or settlement either. we are still very supportive of any internationally negotiated process that promises us nothing but an independent Ambazonia. So far, La République du Cameroon appeared not to be interested in one. Within a period of 4 months, they have walked away from 2 of such processes, the Swiss process and the Canadian process. Accepting a referendum does not mean that we are so desperate for now. Of course not. Even if the conditions are not fair and just, of course not. We are not fixated to a referendum. We have not signed onto one. What we have here is an expression of intent. What this means is that for us to sign onto a referendum, the conditions will have to be fair and just, and guarantee that there will be no loopholes hindering our people from freely expressing and exercising their right to vote, and that all the votes are counted. The referendum, ladies and gentlemen, must be organized and monitored by the United Nations and other international organizations, including, of course, the African Union. Voting will have to be restricted to Ambazonians only. La République du Cameroon will have no say and no rule in the organization and conduct of the exercise. Logistics will have to be provided by the international organizations conducting the referendum. The United Nations and partners would have to determine registration procedure or methods. We assume that La République du Cameroon shall have no role to play from conception to the announcement of results for the referendum. But some of you may be asking right now, but why a referendum? Why a referendum after 7 years? Where were we? Allow me to explain this in a parabolic language. If you are embarked on a journey by way of, say, a bus or plane, and it happens to catch on fire, and firefighters show up but cannot open the door of the plane or the bus, and they succeed only in tearing open the window, will you refuse to use that window to vacate because only the door must be used? If you insist on using only the door, you may die inside there before that door is opened. That is, if they can even open it. This, ladies and gentlemen, this our crusade for freedom and independence can be likened to this journey. We are in a bus or plane that is being asphyxiated. What do you do when you feel suffocation? You rush to get out through any available channel, isn't it? In our case, our available channel is a win-win situation. There is no way we lose in a referendum. There is no way we do not arrive our destination through a referendum. The desired destination is what I am talking about, and that is a free, totally free and independent Southern Cameroon, Ambazonia. When we were young, going to school or to the farm, some chose to use the motorable roads, which were a little bit longer, and some chose to use bush tracks, which we call conshots, which were a little shorter. Both arrived at school or farm, but of course, as rocky and tedious as the bush paths were, those who used it still arrived, and in most cases arrived first. Let me assure you that we are so desperate here for a free Ambazonia that we will not hesitate or ignore any route that give us that answer, that give us a free Ambazonia. A free Ambazonia is all we want. And how we get it isn't really relevant, ladies and gentlemen. We just have to get there. That's all that we want. We cannot be so fixated on historical facts to the extent we forget or ignore what our end goal is. Spare me the history. It will not give us Ambazonia. It will not. It's been over 60 years now since we started talking history. The only thing good about it is that it awakened our consciences and got us to where we are now. But we must then move on from here. That means we must move on. That means we must move on to our destinations. As they say, the means determines the end. That's where we are. That's what we are pursuing. We have preached our history for 60 years. Show me now, or show me how many international partners have agreed or been convinced to come to our aid because of our history. Even those who made and witnessed the history, they find it difficult to get back to it. But it is possible that we can get their attention using the reality of the moment. And the reality is a humanitarian situation. We have been fighting for 7 years. How much international support has come to us? In this newfound opportunity in the referendum, we now have partners who are ready, prepared to do the legwork and the door knocking for us because they are convinced that our message and demand is clear, simple, fair, and just. Why shouldn't we seize on this opportunity, ladies and gentlemen? A referendum creates the opportunity for a ceasefire on the ground. This means that once both parties have agreed to it, French Cameroon troops are pulled back and replaced with an international peacekeeping force. The killing squads of La République are finally gone. Our people can once more live in peace while waiting for the day of the vote to come. They can go about their businesses as was before the war. All hostilities are then brought to a halt. Perhaps, the biggest advantage still is the voice of the people having to have the final say. La République du Cameroon has in the past tried hard in the 7 years of this war to convince the international community that it is the diaspora that is talking and promoting secession, as I like to call it. La République wants the world to believe that Ambazonians want an indivisible Cameroon with special status. If La République du Cameroon, ladies and gentlemen, is very convinced about this, then a referendum provides them with such an opportunity to prove their case, to seal the argument, isn't it? But also consider this. We have seen this tendency in some diaspora leaders, the pseudo leaders, the tendency to present themselves as sole owners of Ambazonia or the struggle, the ones to decide the fate of Ambazonia. In a referendum, diaspora leadership will be off the table. They will just be as equal as you. A referendum shifts the final decision from the diaspora to ground zero, to the people. This does not mean, however, that the diaspora is not qualified to vote or to participate or to carry out education. It means merely that no single group, not even this interim government and any stakeholder or warlord in the diaspora, decides for the people. They will have to fly to ground zero to cast their vote, just as any other Ambazonian on ground zero will do. I guess this is one of the reasons some of the so-called leaders, pseudo-leaders, are so worried and have embarked on a campaign of sabotage. Unfortunately for them, the voice of the people must prevail. It will be supreme. Any diaspora pseudo-leader who wants you to believe that a referendum is a bad idea should give you the alternative, isn't it? And a practical method of attaining it too. It's not enough to shout negotiation and shout history. Some of them, just for the sake of disagreement say, oh, a referendum is not what we need. It should be a plebiscite, they say. Can any one of you out there point out any country that has attained independence within the last 30 years through a plebiscite? Is there one out there? Of course not. It's referendum. Let me take you back to this historical argument being advanced by this pseudo leader out there with a very dubious character. They have laid out the history facts of our independence, which are very, very correct. However, that alone will not give us back our country. These comrades oppose a referendum, but they have failed to propose a pragmatic solution. A referendum, listen to me, has legitimacy in our case on the grounds that, despite the legitimacy of the historical facts, we still have among us some Ambazonians, Southern Cameroonians, who are still craving to live in one Cameroon, and some of them are actually occupying positions in their government and institutions. It only makes it fair, that their voices too will have to be heard. In fact, it is only by giving everybody and every shade of opinion in Ambazonia the opportunity to vote that we would have proven to La République du Cameroon that the idea that Southern Cameroonians still want to live in the United Cameroon is a fat lie, is false. Eritrea went through an internationally organized referendum, ladies and gentlemen, despite the clarity of their case and international law, for the same reason, to give a voice to all its citizens. It is not just enough to lay out our case. Those who have laid out our case ought to equally lay out a solution and the means to attaining it. Firepower has to be increased and sustained, but we also need to bring an alternative to the attention of the international community while fighting. That is a referendum, the place of the referendum. Fighting, talking, and diplomacy must be our strategy. The question is, talking about what? Repeating the history of the violations which have brought us this war? We must float reasonably attainable objectives which will lead to victory, while fighting to pressurize the international community to take real action, And if that action is a referendum, we welcome it. Not only has La République du Cameroon rejected a negotiated settlement, the Chief of Staff of its genocidal forces only yesterday in Bamenda reaffirmed that it will intensify its genocidal campaign to subdue our people to victory. We have a message to him and to La République du Cameroon and his genocidal masterminds. They will fail miserably. The genocidal statement of La République du Cameroon calls for a strong response from us and our restoration forces. We have a fundamental right, ladies and gentlemen, to defend ourselves against an external aggression and genocide. On the other hand, some of our people who are engaged in this struggle have accurately emphasized the justice of our cause and the need for the restoration of our independence, which was recognized by the United Nations. We are all united on that objective. The issue which is at the core of our support for an internationally supervised referendum is that the United Nations has increasingly used that mechanism, the referendum, to conclusively resolve justified international conflicts such as ours and beyond. We have to live in the present world. It was used in the case of Eritrea, in East Timor, South Sudan, and recently it has received support in the Saharan Arab Republic, Democratic Republic conflict. In our case, after the AAC-1 in Boya and AAC-2 in Bamenda, our leaders organized a signature referendum in which more than 90% voted for the restoration of independence. The record of the signature referendum was sent to the United Nations. So therefore, bringing back the idea of an internationally organized referendum is an attainable objective. It is an attainable objective for the actualization of independence. Even federalists like Cardinal Christian Toomey believe in the referendum objective, and indeed conducted a survey which showed an overwhelming majority supporting our total freedom and independence. Again, ladies and gentlemen, those who have accurately recounted the history of our just cause have not laid out a credible avenue of obtaining our independence with reasonable international support. They are relying on La République du Cameroon coming to the negotiation table. They have not. We too want a credible, internationally mandated, organized, negotiated settlement as soon as possible. To stop Cameroon from continuing the genocide. When that occurs, an internationally organized referendum will still be a strong solution. Why should we then have to wait for La République du Cameroon to control the international mood by deciding whether an internationally mandated negotiation will take place or not? They walked away from the internationally endorsed Swiss initiative and publicly rejected the Canadian process without any consequences. No one nation has declared any sanctions against La République du Cameroon ever since. In spite of this conduct of La République du Cameroon requires a rethinking and a strong response from us. La République has opted for a genocidal war and war alone without an alternative. It is irresponsible, totally irresponsible for us to want to wait for a change of mind of La République when we know it is not coming. Ladies and gentlemen, recounting the history of our just cause and making demands on the international community for a solution without the same time suggesting a solution to resolve the conflict is the most irresponsible thing for leaders and the people of the Southern Cameroons to do. And that is the reason why we have endorsed and internationally mandated an organized referendum for the resolution of the conflict. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and that was the presentation. I hope that made some sense to all of you out there. We are hoping that in the coming days, weeks, or months, the generality of Ambazonian stakeholders will come sit down together and figure out if we should have a referendum. What are the modalities? What are the modalities? And of course, Ground Zero will be involved. This restoration struggle is not in the exclusive or explicit custody of the diaspora. And so we're hoping that both home ground or Ground Zero and the diaspora will come together, sit down and figure out what should be the modalities for such a referendum should we finally get one. At this moment, I am going to open the phone lines and have you call in and let me see what you are thinking. Let me know what you are thinking as far as this subject is concerned. The phone line, before you call, of course, before you call, make sure that the volume of your set is turned down. Before you call, please tune down the volume of your set. Just focus on the phone call, and don't listen to your television set. All right, the phone line is there on the screen, waiting for your calls, to come in. All right, okay, the first caller comes in. Oh, I think I missed. Okay, this is Ground Zero calling. Hello.
Yeah, hello, sir.
Hello, sir. May I know where you are calling in from, please?
Yeah, calling from Douala.
Calling from Douala. Thank you. Thank you. And what do you have in mind?
Yeah, thank you so much for your well-presented monologue. I listened to you about the referendum. It's well understood. But the only point I want to ask here is how effective would the campaign be done without our people not being intimidated? First of all, La Republic is dominating in terms of frightening and other type of stuff. And we are much infiltrated with black legs that you have your opinion against the republic, they will be picked overnight. How do you think these same people will move on the street to campaign for the referendum freely?
That is
You know,
hold on there,
France is there.
hold on there.
Correct.
That is a very good question, because I know many people have those fears. But let me tell you, the United Nations or any organization in that matter conducting this referendum does not just come on the ground and say, okay, everybody get ready to vote and let's see what the outcome will be. No, this is the way it starts, if there will be one. First, the troops, the soldiers of La Republique du Cameroon are pulled out, and then a peacekeeping force is put on the ground. Now we have to understand that if a referendum is accepted by both parties, it doesn't take place within 1 year or 2 years, maybe between 3, 4, or even 5 years, because enough time is given by the international community for the campaigns and the preparations that you are talking about to take place. And at that moment, Cameroon has nothing to do with it. So the idea that, oh, Cameroon will rig, or Cameroon will cheat, or Cameroon will intimidate, absolutely it will not exist. I hope it makes sense to you.
Yes, my last point. You know, most 90% of our chiefs are infiltrated and are all living in Yaoundé right now.
Yes.
Since the breakdown of this war. Now, if they are all infiltrated, you know, majority of the villages, the vote are carried in the palaces, where the chiefs will come back from Yaoundé, and they will convince the indigents.
Well,
now, how effective do you think the chief will be saying something?
Well, thank you. The voting, thank you. Hold on there. Thank you. No voting, I can assure you, will take place in any palace. We are not still in 1961 or 1970 when elections took place in palaces. It will not happen, I can assure you that. Because those organizing it have to be sure that the results are credible. And let me also tell you one thing. Those chiefs, I can assure you, will vote Ambazonia. Will vote for a free and independent Ambazonia. They will do that. I am 100% sure of it, maybe except a very few of them, but the overwhelming majority of them will vote for Ambazonia. But whatever the case, no election, no polling, no referendum can take place in any palace. The people will decide where they feel they are most comfortable to conduct those elections. And take note, the Republic is not appointing officials for any referendum vote. They have nothing to do with it. So no fears at all about that. Thank you for the call. Let me get to other calls, please.
Okay.
All right. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Where are you calling from, please? Where are you calling from?
Kumba.
Kumba, okay. How was Ghost Town in Kumba today?
Well, I can virtually tell you that Ghost Town has broken down in Kumba 3.
Kumba 3, okay.
Bikes are running everywhere. Yes, bikes are running everywhere, carrying passengers. And
Kumba 3 is made up of which area, sir? Is that Fiango and so on? Mambanda, okay.
3 corners, Mambanda, and that's the headquarters.
All right, we get you. We have learned about that, and we're working on a solution. What is in your mind today, sir?
I would like to get into direct personal contact with you to do a solution.
Okay. You have my number. We
are constantly talking about.
You are breaking.
What I want to know is there's this constant emphasis about referendum and so on. The Republic of Cameroon is concentrating training military camps and establishing itself on the ground. Uh, what is our response? Because
I'm sorry, sir. Your network is really bad. We can barely hear you. Your network is so bad. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, sir. Where are you calling from? Can you turn down the volume of your television, please?
Yes, I've turned it down.
Yes, where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from La Republique, Yaoundé.
Okay, and what is in your mind? Hello?
Yes, what is my mind is that, yes, I'm getting you 5 on 5.
Okay, go on.
Yes, what I was trying to say is that the issue of the referendum is very correct. It's very correct, but the problem is that there are some, since other people they are like against the referendum, but I'm seeing that the referendum issue is correct. Because even there are some Ambazonian citizens that they are working in La Republic, when the time of referendum will reach, they will be the one to go and vote.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
One of the question I have heard asked again and again is, what about the Francophones born in the southern Cameroon? What if La Republique will ferry thousands of their citizens to cross over and vote in Ambazonia? They will be disappointed. They will be disappointed. We have to realize, ladies and gentlemen, the overwhelming majority of our population lives in the rural areas. They are not in Kumba. They are not in Bamenda. They are not in Victoria. Yeah, we may have hundreds or thousands of Francophones in Victoria and Bamenda and in Queen. They do not supersede the overwhelming population of our people that live in these cities. And so Cameroon would have to ferry at least 2 million people to cross over and vote before they think they can even win or succeed to sabotage a referendum, which can never happen, of course. So absolutely no fear there.
That is it, sir. That's the point. There are public citizens that are living in Ambazonia. When the time will reach, the international body will come in and say that if you are here, you are a La Republique, you should go back to La Republique. And then the Ambazonia that are living in Ambazonia, they should go back to Ambazonian. And then from there now, they will then make the voting issue to take place. Even there are some Ambazonian that are working in the Republic government. When the time of referendum will reach, they would like to vote with vote to the referendum, to vote against the La Republic.
Of course, of course. And let me assure everybody out there, there shall be no voting stations anywhere in La Republique du Cameroon, not in Yaoundé, not in Douala. All voting or polling stations will be in the southern Cameroons. So
yes,
La Republique will not try by any means to cheat. Well, thank you for the call, sir.
You're welcome, sir. You're welcome.
All right, the phone line is open, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead and place your call. I know many people have been trying to call. Okay, Ground Zero is very excited. Hello. 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 Well, if you call, you have to make sure you pick the call when I am on. Hello.
Yeah, hello, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from Ground Zero.
Ground Zero. Which county?
Mezam.
Mezam. Okay. What is in your mind, sir?
Yeah, I am much more. I'm very impressed with the presentation and subject of the referendum. And it's our wish, and it will be the wish of many people on Ground Zero, that such an opportunity should be given a chance, so that the people on ground who are fighting and bearing and going through the difficulties daily they could express their mind. And our prayer and our prayers down here is that those of you who are leaders should really come together and talk as one man. I don't know what is wrong with some of us, in that whenever we have an opportunity, some people are for, some people are against. Why can we not come together, debate together, see the advantages and the disadvantages, and then talk as one man? Must we ever be acting in disunity? Because like you quite mentioned about somebody who spoke about the plebiscite, who spoke about, and after Bonagi is speaking in our various channels, educating us. If we cannot listen to a diplomat of such a substance, I don't know the type of person that will listen to. Even if Jesus will come back and talk to us, I doubt whether we'll be able to listen.
I get you, comrade. Hold on there. Hold on there. You see, the problem that we have in this struggle is that you have leaders, so-called leaders, that feel very threatened if an idea is not generated from them. This conference in Washington, D.C., comrades, Ambazonian, listen to me. Every Ambazonian leader, including Cho Ayaba, Samuel Okomesako, President Emeritus, they all receive invitations. Samuel Okomesako lives only 10 miles from the venue of the Hudson Institute, refused to be there. But he is the first to go online and says, first, we should stick to negotiations. Until when? Until what happens? Until when Cameroon says, yes, I'm ready for negotiations? And then when he hit his turn on, he says, no, not a referendum, but a plebiscite. A plebiscite is these are people with no vision, no direction. They have no idea how we can resolve this conflict. So Cameroon is saying, is pulling away from every negotiation process. And we just keep on waiting, sitting here and waiting and hoping that one of these days they will wake up and agree to a negotiated process. How many people or countries in the international community have come to our support, even for this negotiated process? It is easier to convince or to convince the international community to call for a referendum than to call them, ask them to give us arms or to force or pass sanctions on Cameroon to go to a negotiated settlement. Just imagine, Cameroon now says, okay, I am ready for a negotiated settlement. Guess what? Don't you think that negotiated settlement may still end in a referendum? So why do we have to wait and so fixated on a particular route? All right. Well, thank you, sir. Let me get to other callers. I appreciate your call.
Okay. But the point I was making is that if that man has spoken in Ayabacho's television, he has spoken in Samuel Sako's ABC, and Tapadikin was the one who interviewed him. If they're still thinking,
you're talking about Thibault Nash, right?
Yeah, Thibault Nash.
They did not bring him there to interview him. They thought they could embarrass him, but being the astute diplomat that he is, he gave them some good lectures. I think they were they came across as very ridiculous in the way they handled that. But thank you, sir. Let's take other callers. Hello. Please, before you call, make sure that the volume of your set is turned down. Hello. Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
I'm hearing you, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ground Zero.
Okay, go on, sir.
Yeah, Secretary Chris, I want to thank you first of all for the job that you are doing. My concern is right now it's not about that referendum. My concern is to reinforce the ghost town, because I'm seeing that the people are beginning to not to respect the ghost town as before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying this because I'm in Ground Zero, precisely at the center at the Old Town. There are too much blackness.
Where is that? Old Town?
Yes, bikes are working on Monday. especially coming to Old Town. So we need to reinforce the ghost town before waiting for the referendum. If not, things will get bad.
All right. Thank you. You heard me mention firepower. The only thing that will bring us either negotiations or referendum, ladies and gentlemen, is firepower. And let me seize this opportunity to appeal to every Ambazonian. Comrades, we cannot know this and just sit still and hope that by some miracle we make it to happen. I am appealing to you. If you have not been supporting this struggle, this thing we call firepower, I urge you, go online to ambadues.com. ambadues.com. Please enroll for your $20, $10, $50, $100 a month so that this thing we are talking about, we can force the hand of a lot of people to Cameroon on it. All right. Hello.
Yeah, Secretary Chris. Good evening, President.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Bangui.
Bangui, wonderful. All right. How are you doing today? What is in your mind?
Thank you, sir. Please, to ask you if at all that institution has power to force Cameroon, La Republique, to accept the referendum. If they have power to accept, they force Cameroon to accept the referendum.
No.
And then how many leaders were there in the negotiations?
No, the Hudson Institute does not have any power to force Cameroon to accept a referendum. However, the Hudson Institute is one of the most powerful, influential, conservative think tank in the USA, and if they are engaged in knocking doors, I bet you it will take us another level. As for how many leaders were there, they were all together 14 leaders and stakeholders out there. Some did not show up. Sako, for example, did not show up, and a few others they didn't show up. But again, there were 14 now, plus I think 4 observers from the U.S. Congress, the Hudson Institute, and Ambassador Nagy. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right. The phone line is free. Please go ahead and call. Okay. Hello.
Hello,
sir.
Yes, comrade. I've been listening to the program, and like many other people, I'm impressed at the efforts the two people are making, and I call on everybody pitching. But what I would say is this: Ambazonia should not be made to think that, okay, there are already United Nations people on their way to Ambazonia to contribute.
Absolutely correct.
What we are saying is this is an idea that we should accept. Should it come up, right?
Yes.
Am I mistaken?
No, you are not
something
mistaken.
that would accept. Should it come up, and it should also be made clear that when it comes up to the point of a referendum, it's not going to be everybody, every damn person living in our God-given territory that is going to say it's an Ambazonia. If you're an Ambazonia, we're going to know who your great-grandparents are, and your grandparents are, and your parents are, and then we know that you're a bona fide Ambazonian. It's not because you left the Pamlikin land and built a hut in Bamenda that we're going to call you an Ambazonian. It's not, or because you can speak some broken English that will call you an Ambazonian. So it's going to be the qualification of Ambazonia. To qualify as an Ambazonian, we're going to dig into your history before we call you, before we issue you a voter card. These are the type of things that will go to his system. But we're not yet there. It's something to push. And the way to push it is to contribute, is to be attentive, make your conditions, and let there be this firepower. And the international community, through the effort that you are making, are going to say, yeah, we really need this. We're not going to have it by sitting in our homes and complain about this not having been done, or the leadership as I often hear some people say, the leadership has done this, the leadership has done that.
Yeah.
Everybody's a leader. Everybody's a leader at their own level. So if some people are messed up, the question I ask is, so what do we do? Should we now dump the whole thing because Mr. Sako stole all the money? No. Took the money, he's gone. Whatever he's doing, still looking for more. Let Mr. Sako go and enjoy himself. I heard some audio from him posted in a forum, and I was really disappointed in that person. He thinks that Ambazonians are ignorant, and so he can say anything I expect them to. Anyway, let's
comrade, hold on a second. Talking about armchair activism. This guy that you are referring to, Psycho, this is a guy that had all the money, sat in Washington, D.C. for 4 years earning money, and never knocked a single door in Washington, D.C. Now we came up last December and said, let's all rally in Washington, D.C. to protest BS visit to D.C. You know what he said?
He said it was too cold.
He said it's too cold. No, we need bad money. We need bad money. People should contribute money. Timo Nash and the Hudson Institute organized this event and sent an invitation 10 miles from where he lives. 10 miles from where he lives. He will not go. And then the first thing he does is go out and put out a very inarticulate statement saying, first, we just need negotiations. We just need negotiations. And then it wasn't 48 hours, he comes out and says, well, a plebiscite. A plebiscite is a real thing. And you watch them on your television all confused, like people who really don't know what a referendum means or a plebiscite means. I don't know. And maybe somebody should ask them to give us the difference between the two.
He knows. He's just trying to money the way. He knows. He knows that. Yes, some people call him doctor.
All right.
Even if he's not doctor, you don't need a doctorate degree to know that what that guy is saying is just.
Well, doctor is not necessarily intelligence.
Yeah. So my point is this, Mr. Sako, leave Ambazonia alone. You have outlived your usefulness. If ever you were useful, you have outlived your usefulness, and just leave us alone. Yeah. So thank you.
Will you call back in 1 hour, please?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. All right. But you made a very important point there about people should not sit there thinking that, oh, the United Nations is coming in 1 year or in 6 months. Absolutely not. Ambazonians, we want you to know what we are talking about here is a proposal. Nothing is written in stone. We are saying that this is the shortest route that anybody interested in helping us should support, and we are taking it to the people that matter. And the good thing is that we have people within those circles who can then knock the doors for us because they buy into the idea. Just imagine, Pandangam is going everywhere and saying, give Ambazonia a referendum. And just imagine, Tumfo and Bo Herbert is going everywhere and saying, give Ambazonia a referendum. Dr. Akwanga is going everywhere and saying, give Ambazonia a referendum. Chris Anu is going everywhere and saying, give Ambazonia a referendum. We are speaking one language and one message, and it is a message that those in the international community are buying. All right. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hey, Comrade Chris, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. You are calling from Maryland.
Oh, sure. Calling from Maryland, Sebastian Barrico.
All right.
Again, thanks for bringing up this, and we again want to appreciate the work you do. I want to talk to Ambazonians, and I think I will talk in Pidgin. I will speak in Pidgin. I will talk to them in Pidgin. I want make all man know say this work we will President Chris do now very good work. this thing for referendum, na thing where we don't look at, we don't search and do them. All we look and say, if some people they decide say they want to knock door for this referendum, make we take them with all hands. We not hear any leader out there, anybody we call himself leader, we in the general referendum. I tell you, the secret, you know me very well, Sebastian Barrico. The reason behind why they deny, say make them not go for any referendum now because some of these people they call themselves leaders, they want to make this revolution, they go on and on and on so that they would lobby Ambazonians for the pay their rent, give them money for job, and they say they struggle, they still go ahead. So make we forget about them. If we get away for say we want to referendum are the best thing. Again, they fear, these people they fear because if referendum there, the power will go for ground zero. Now ground zero will decide. Now Ambazonians will decide. It will be in a diaspora again. It will be in a President Chris. It will be in a Sako. It will be in a Yaba. It will be in a for ground zero. So now this referendum they give power to ground zero. Now ground zero when I will decide whether when I want make we stay with La Republic or make we remain with make we go our own way, make we go independent country. So now all man get for push if we want or if all we want make we get to Ambazonia. Now all man get for fall behind this referendum. We tell La Republic say when I say all man there for one Cameroon, make we go vote. If we make we go vote, we'll see how many people will vote for one Cameroon, how many people will vote for Federation, and how many people will vote for get Ambazonia. If we need fear, make we will go vote. This referendum that the best thing. Any person we call a leader out here today, when he talks say, ain't no one referendum, when I know say that person they fight now for your pocket. And the reason is because he knows say if they push it inside of ground zero, it will be really, really insignificant. As I tell you again, when ground zero take this referendum, we for diaspora here will only there for support now. If we want for can support, we'll get for pay flight, can't vote. So diaspora it will be a personal non grata. But we'll definitely for supply una, give una all money on until granite, give una wait on time for stick them. But again, we no get no hand now we for ground zero on our decide. So make all una fight for behind this referendum with the talk. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Let me just add this. Diaspora will not be persona non grata. Listen, there is no doubt, ladies and gentlemen, the diaspora will still play a big role, but not in decision making and educating our people. We will have to come on the ground. We will have to come on the ground and carry out campaigns. That is to tell you how secure it will be at that time if it happens. We will come there and hold rallies and educate people just as they do in political campaigns. So that is very important. Let's get back to the call. If you are keep calling, if you are trying to call but you can't get through, keep calling. Hello.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from? Is this Switzerland?
From Switzerland.
Okay, yeah, I see the number.
Okay, just as a rejoinder to what you and the other callers have been saying, a referendum is a good thing, obviously. But how many more proof do Ambazonians still need to see that there are some so-called leaders, frontline leaders, who are not fighting for Ambazonia, who do not have the interest of Ambazonia at heart? And we still continue to call them out, just as the last speaker said. Why is Sako against a referendum? Why? I mean, this is mind-boggling. What Ayabacho, the same thing. And I
have not heard Ayaba's opinion on this. Have you?
I read something. He wrote something about that.
Oh,
completely
okay.
Against completely against the referendum. I'm going to send it to you.
Okay, comrade, hold on there. Hold on there. These are the guys who thought the negotiation route. We elevated them. They were essentially becoming the custodians of Ambazonia. And once they realize it is slipping through their fingers, they will oppose it. Their relevance will evaporate. So I am not surprised at that action where they feel that their irrelevance is being taken away. Go on, please.
And you can see why someone like Ayabacho will be against the revolution, because from day one, he has been a destructive force. He has been a hindrance, causing distraction. And just today, Fabiano Deco, I think you know him, was reporting that Ayaba sent AFAN to go and attack our ARFs in Benin.
In Benin, yes, I learned about that.
Some of them, yes. And so you can see the actions of Mr. Ayabacho. Just see what he's doing. It's just, we have to look for a way to stop AFAN from making our families suffering from all this, their extortion and stuff like that. Thank you.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I think even the activists in their meeting in Belgium also called for the United Nations to organize a referendum for the Southern Cameroons. I thought that was quite interesting. Okay, let's get to the phones. Hello. Hello. Well, please, before you call again, shut down the volume of your set. I can't pick your call with the volume of your television in the background. The phone line is open. Go ahead and call. The phone line is open. Go ahead and call. All right, again, I'd just like to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, of the lockdown starting on May 17, Thursday. May 17 is our lockdown, and it ends on Saturday, 20th May. No 20th May in Ambazonia whatsoever. All right, hello. Hello.
Hello.
Please, there is noise in your background. Shut down that noise and call back. All right, so 20th May lockdown announced beginning Thursday, May the 18th through the 20th. Thursday, May 18th through the 20th. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So please, we urge you, begin to plan for this, make arrangement, buy water, buy food, buy medications, keep it home and be ready for it. All right. Hello.
Yes.
All right, that is better. Where are you calling from, sir?
I'm calling from Douala.
Okay, and what is your contribution?
Yes, the issue of referendum is quite acceptable and good. But my worry now is they just made mention of Ayabacho and Opa. What measures are we taking to make sure that they should not also do such when that time is approaching? And then with the other.
Well, that is a good question. What measures are we taking? We don't have to take any measure, because if a peacekeeping force is on the ground, then no other force can be on the ground, not even our own. Our force will be on the ground but laid back. You understand?
Hello, Secretary Chris.
Hello, sir.
Thank you for your job.
It seems like you guys have just swapped phones.
Yes, we are happy to come on. It's our first time getting through to ABS, and we are so excited.
All right.
And we want to say that that referendum issue is what we will take here, even though we are in La Republique, but we appreciate that move. There is a saying in English that when crying, be moving. We cannot be crying and sitting at the spot. When we are crying and somebody says, "Oh, why are you crying? Come, let me show you what is happening. Come take this thing." So we go with open hands. If there is a person who is telling us that there is a door we can knock so that a referendum would be organized, it's a welcome move, sir. We are very happy, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. That is the analogy I use when I said, if you are in the plane or in a bus and it happens to catch fire, and the firefighters show up, and they can break the door open, but they succeed to tear the window open and say, "Hey, come out!" But you insist that you must use only the door. You will die before that fire is put out.
Absolutely, absolutely. The hard way will only be the only way. So if the window is open and we are able to jump out, we serve ourselves.
Correct.
So if a referendum is coming to serve us, it is a welcome issue. It's a welcome idea. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We can only say thank you, Comrade Chris. We love you.
Thank you, sir. God bless. Thank you for the call. Okay, the line is open. The line is open. I still have 40 minutes to go. 40 minutes to go. I will not be here the rest of the week, but next week, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be having a line up of speakers, a line up of international speakers to help discuss the subject of this referendum with us. And I will surely bring Ambassador Tibor here next week. I believe I will bring him here. I haven't spoken to him yet about it, but I believe he will join me next week when I call. Hello. Hello.
Comrade Chris.
Hello, sir.
This is the very boy Didi calling from the Scandinavia.
I can hear the voice. What is in your mind?
Yeah. Thank you very much for the good presentation. It was brilliant. Don't bother about the naysayers. Just do the job. Talent is never hidden. What I just want to add is that those on ground zero who have heard you, even though we are still in the boarding phase of the initiative, but they can already start in our Njangi groups, in our ex-student association, and start sharing this opinion among themselves and stuff like that. So
that's a very good idea. That's a very good idea. The education has to start now.
Exactly. So when they go to their Njangi groups every Sunday or whatever, they start sharing the idea there. After all, that is what makes us culturally different from La Republic. We have a small places that we meet that has nothing to do, even the whole La Republic among us, they cannot even understand what we're doing. So we make use of those avenues, start educating ourselves, so that when the time comes, the work to be done will be less. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's a very good point. That's a very good point. Everywhere in Ambazonia, we know it is difficult for you to talk about La Republique du Cameroon, talk against them, go on radio, go on television or social media and talk about this. But you have your Njangi groups, you have your meeting groups, you have your alumni groups. Go there. That is where we build ground zero and educate the masses towards an eventuality that there is a referendum. Okay. Hello.
Yeah, Mr. President, good evening.
This is the Honorable Anne, in the very chair of the People's Restoration Council.
That's correct, Mr. President. Thank you for this wonderful program.
Thank you.
I could not stop without calling after listening to so many phone calls that motivated you and the issue of the referendum. I am calling because I listened to an audio somewhere left by the so-called Sarkozy and his guy, claiming that Ambazonia was once a free state and we had our sovereignty, so we don't need a referendum. I want to tell Ambazonians that Ambazonia should not be deceived, just like the others have said. People who want to hang on to power do not want us to be free. Now the Ambazonians should know who wants Ambazonia liberated and who wants us to remain in this war for the rest of our lives. Ambazonians should understand that we actually had a referendum and voted to join La Republique. Even though Fonta, at the end of the day, never signed the unity documents, the courts here have said it time and again when we applied for demonstrations and protests that a verbal agreement is binding.
Oh yeah,
so it is binding.
And the House of Commons and the House of Lords, they have said it in documentation that you went to a plebiscite and agreed to join with Cameroon. And the idea that it was independence, of course, the facts are very correct there. But the other fact is that we don't have that independence at the moment.
No.
And we will do anything to take it back. That's what we are trying to do here.
And the only way out is a referendum. So anybody who is telling you not to go in for a referendum knows what he is benefiting from this war and wants us to be doomed with it for the rest of our life. That it would take us 30 years like it took Eritrea. No. Come to think of it, South Sudan had their independence through a referendum. Take the case of Montenegro, Serbia, all of them through referendums. The United Nations just had a referendum. The United Kingdom recently had a referendum to
pull out of the European Union.
Yes. So what is the big deal about a referendum? Ambazonians, you look at a president sitting here fighting for you to be free. He is not vying to come down there and be a president. He will stand here, support you, advise you to take the decisions and take over your country. So this is the type of person you should look up to and listen to. And if you are still hesitating, please sign up, subscribe, and be here to follow up on how you are going to get ourselves liberated, because you on the ground have the powers now to decide for us in the diaspora. This is the opportunity, and I want you, Ambazonians, all of you on the ground, to seize it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Honorable, for the call. God bless. Okay, let's get to the next caller here. Hello.
Hello, Mr. President. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from the city of Atlanta in the USA.
Atlanta. Okay, go on, sir. What is in your mind?
Yes, I just wanted to also bring this contribution to add to all what our comrades have said, even those in Ground Zero. The major difference between a referendum and a plebiscite is in the initiation. Whereas a referendum is or can be initiated by the people, a plebiscite can only be initiated by the representative authorities. The citizens do not have the power to initiate a plebiscite. And our people should know that
comrade, look at it this way. Comrade, look at it this way. We don't even need to go down the argument of a referendum and a plebiscite. Just do this for anyone. Go online and go to Google and just search which countries have won independence by plebiscite. You will see that when you read the narrative, you will see the plebiscite is used in the place of a referendum. And what that means is that whether a plebiscite or a referendum, we don't care. What we care is what gives us a referendum. If it is not a plebiscite, if it is negotiation, wonderful, we take it. Anything that will give us that country is what we are talking about.
Exactly.
All right. All right, thank you for the call. Let's get to the other callers here. Hello.
Secretary Chris.
Hello.
Yeah, Secretary Chris, I called you last time on your show, and I promised to pledge my alleged for our support, and I'm calling from Canada.
Oh, wonderful. Good to hear your voice. So did you send your support?
Yeah, I went through the Amber Relief platform, and I pledged my support right there.
Amber Relief or Amber Dues?
Amber Dues.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Wonderful. What is in your mind today, sir?
Yeah, that's a brilliant idea. I don't know, like, is it, I don't see anything that brings in division if we're gonna have our independence. I don't see anything.
Absolutely.
Whether it's coming from you, whether it's coming from Sako, whether it's coming from me, whether it's coming from whoever.
Absolutely.
So I just think we should support whatever each other is doing and see how we can fight and strive for our independence. This idea Comrade,
hold on there. Hold on. Comrade, hold on there a second. The idea of we should support whatever any other person is doing is a great idea. But sometimes, for as long as there is openness in what
Yes.
that order is doing. 14 people. We went to Washington, D.C., sat in there, came out, put out a joint press statement to the Ambazonian people to know exactly what transpired there. Now, some others went to Canada and came out, not a single statement up to this moment came out to brief the Ambazonian people what it was all about. A statement did not, a statement.
This is when you start seeing true leadership. This is when true leadership and charismatic leaders come in place. Because I mean, they went into Canada and we didn't hear anything. Until now, we don't even know what happened. Nothing.
And they met in Canada for 2 months. For 2 months. Now somebody is trying.
I'm not saying I'm against what anybody is doing, because they have their own idea and they have a reason for what they are doing. But I mean, you need to show it to the people. The people need to know what's going on.
The people have to know and approve of it. If the people of Ambazonia say no, Chris and others, we don't need this referendum thing. That is their voice. That is their place. That is the power.
One more thing, Chris. It's very important to let our people know. Nobody cares about the people of Ambazonia. We've seen what is happening in Sudan right now. We've seen all the attention that is put towards what is happening to Sudan right now. Right. Ambazonia has been going on for the past 50 years that the people of Ambazonia has been suffering from the hands of Cameroon. So what I want to let the Ambazonians know is that the international community doesn't care about us. So if we don't stand up right now and fight for ourselves to the maximum, we're going to suffer the consequences. It's very, very imperative to let our people know this. And I like the way Thibault Nach put it on ABC. If you watch how Thibault Nach expresses himself on ABC, he was quite explicit.
Yeah.
He put it very, very clear. If the people of Ambazonia doesn't fight for it, even as we're talking about the referendum right now, it is our duty to fight for it.
Of course.
No international community
it will not be given to us. We will have to fight for everything. And the number one way, comrade, the number one way we fight for it is to make sure firepower does not cease on the ground. Be it negotiations, be it referendum, the secret is firepower. And I'm appealing to every Ambazonian, please register on ambadeals.com.
Whether it's going to take us how long?
Correct.
That firepower should maintain itself on the ground. Whether we are talking referendum, whether we are talking whatsoever negotiation bullshit, firepower is the first thing on the ground. Because if you don't have firepower on the ground, nobody's going to listen to you.
Absolutely. Thank you for the call.
Listen to you.
Thank you for the call.
All right, Secretary Chris. Yep.
All right. And he was talking about supporting every initiative that anybody or any group, any leader brings on the table. Of course, that is what it should be. However, let me say this, as far as the Canadian thing is concerned, if you negotiate something and you think that you can run with it and own it, and you cannot put it on the table for all Ambazonian leaders and stakeholders to then sit down and formulate the agenda, and you think that some of us will just come and sit on the table with you and follow orders, that's not going to happen. That will not happen. That's exactly what we are trying to do here by laying this on the table so that every Ambazonian can have a say. All right. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, hello. Good evening, Secretary Chris.
Good evening,
and
sir.
my comrade Chris.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm coming from Meme County.
Wonderful. Good to hear your voice. What is in your mind, sir?
Yeah, I just want to find out what will be the outcomes of our boys in the bush if it happens that we are going for the referendum. So the boys in the bush will drop down their arms, or how will it be?
The boys in the bush, if we have, remember this is still conditional. We are not saying there will be. We are saying if we have one that is being supervised by the United Nations and the rest of the international community, our boys will lay back. They are not dropping their arms. They are laying back and giving the chance to the peacekeeping force to take care of the community, of the territory, until after the referendum is conducted. If we win the referendum, you know what? Those guys may come out of the bushes and be trained to become the Southern Cameroons or Ambazonian army. But within the duration where a referendum is prepared, they will have to lay back. They are not giving their arms or surrendering their arms. No, they are laying back. And we are hoping that the referendum will bring us a free Ambazonia, or whatever is a resolution coming from the referendum. Then we will know what happened to the fighters only after that.
Okay, that's good. That's good. All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for the call. All right. I will take one last call before I call it a day. Please go ahead. The phone line is open. The phone line is open. Go ahead and you'll be the last caller for tonight. I want to believe that everybody has gotten this. And again, next week, you're going to be really busy here on ABS. We're going to be having quite a long list of guests coming in to talk and educate our people on this subject of referendum. Timo Nash will be here, and many others in the international arena. Hello.
Yeah, Secretary Chris, I'm coming back. I just want to say one thing to you, Secretary Chris.
All right.
Do you know why we support you out here?
No, sir.
We support you out here because you have been a brilliant statesman. And the most important thing we support you is because your brother was fighting on the ground. I just want to reiterate this point. We support you because your brother was a statesman. He was an Ambazonian fighter. I want all Ambazonians to keep this in mind. He was fighting on the ground. He was giving all for Ambazonia. Ambazonians support Secretary Chris. He merits it. I'm just saying this so that Ambazonians on air should know what Secretary Chris and his family has done for this struggle. So thank you very much, Secretary Chris, for what you're doing.
Thank you,
very much.
Thank you, sir.
We're gonna pledge our support to you till the last man standing.
Thank you, sir.
And we believe you're never gonna fail us. Thank you so much, Secretary Chris.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yep.
Thank you. Please hold the line. Hold the line, please. Hold the line. Stay on the line. Let me just say this. Thank you, comrade, for that compliment out there. But I like to say this. Don't support Secretary Chris. I am performing a patriotic duty to my country, to Ambazonia. You support the struggle. Fight for your country. Don't fight for me. Comrades, tomorrow if this thing is over, I will still be in the United States with all of my freedoms and rights. But you on the ground may never have those freedoms and rights. Let us fight to liberate our people and not fight to support or free individuals. Thank God for my brother Field Marshal. He did the best. He did the best. I am doing the best here. I want you out there, do your own best. It is not about us. It is not about me. It is not about a leader. It is about a free country. And please, if you have that free country truly in mind, support it. I think that's the message the last caller wanted to pass across. Hello. Good evening, sir. Can you raise your voice a little bit, please?
Okay, thank you. If you hear me now.
I can hear you now.
Okay, I want to salute you for the good work.
Where are you calling from, please? Where are you calling from?
From Southeast Asia.
Southeast Asia, okay.
Yeah. I want to say, may God bless you with the vision where you get time for free the suffering people them back home. No put your head for this people where they castigate you, call you La Republic, or you don't come I with Bonagi for carry Ambazonia again for a Republic. No. We get so many leaders there in this revolution without no vision. The problem is people are just supporting the leaders without no vision. If somebody is castigating you that you are bringing an opportunity for the referendum on the table, and they are saying you are a republic, what is their vision to free the people on ground zero? That is what we should be asking them.
Absolutely.
What is their vision?
No, that's a question I asked in the. That's a question I asked in the monologue. We cannot sit here narrating history without showing us how that history gives us independence. We have been singing history and narrating 1608, 217, and 215, and so on and so forth, and so on. It hasn't gained us any imparties, not from a single country. It hasn't. We must start being more pragmatic in our solution approach. And that is why we are talking about this referendum. And comrade, you know that I am never scared by anybody. When I believe in something, when I'm convinced it is the right thing to do, you can go to hell and come back. I will stay on that idea for as long as I know it is the right thing to do. They said before that Chris Anu was La Republic. Chris Anu is bought over. Chris Anu is sold. I am still here. No leave, no transfer. And I just hope they will still hitting the rock. And join me and let's push this thing together.
God bless you, Mr. Chris, and we will support you from day one till the last man standing. Now you don't get the vision for your people, and we pray saying God give you that power, that eye for see what way they go. Anything we feed one, we done your power for free the people there for ground. My big brother, my friend, my best man, go ahead and do it.
I can't do anything. I can't do anything on my own. We have to do it together. We have to do it together, all of us, especially if you are in the diaspora. Please, I am appealing to you. The only way we hold Cameroon for their cannas, for agree for this referendum or negotiation, firepower.
Thank you, Mr.
Firepower.
Already before.
So please, get to amberdeals.com. amberdeals.com. Register, put in your $10, $20, $50, whatever you can afford through the month. Please, let's make sure that this fire on the ground is sustained. Hello.
Inviting. Hello, sir.
Hello, sir. Where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from Meza.
I thought you called earlier.
Yeah, but I still have a point to bring it up again. That's why I'm coming up.
All right, go on, please. Go on.
Yes, I got to mention the fact that our activists in their conference, they unanimously agree for the referendum. I just wish to say that that is the spirit. I wish, we pray and wish from ground zero that the other leaders will see what you people are seeing now, you and the activists, so that nobody should be left behind, and tomorrow they should feel ashamed of what the people on the ground will decide. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. I think the fact is that almost everybody agrees that if we have a referendum, there is no way La Republic will run with a victory. Of course, they're not going to participate, but if the vote is no, it means they win. The vote is yes, it means we win. So there is no way, just no way, comrades, that a referendum on the ground will not give us what we want. Just no way. Even federalists and the special status advocates, the Agbo Balas and the rest, they will prefer a free and independent Ambazonia. So I am kind of very confident this is the right thing to do. Okay, let me read a few messages that I am seeing here before I call it a night. This is sensational today. We shouldn't give chances to blacklegs to destroy this referendum at all. Well done, sir. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Let me see. Which other message is here? Good evening, Mr. President. A referendum is very welcome to read the minds of the people. I think both parties must agree. What will happen if La République du Cameroon run away? As usual, God help Ambazonia. Well, it's very possible they may want to run away from it as they have done with every attempt at mediation. But just imagine the reaction from the international community, ladies and gentlemen. They run away from Swiss, they run away from Canada, they run away from a referendum. Can you imagine that anybody in the international community would want to see that happen? Of course not. Cameroon, I say, will hold them for their canals. They will either mediate, and which may end in a referendum, or just simply agree to a referendum. They have no choice. All right. Somebody write, yes, my comrade, you are welcome on when you come on like this. We are happy. What you are saying is just the truth. They are taking their forces all over Ambazonia. We thank you, comrade, for the announcement of the lockdown early. It's always good to come up with this early so that anyone who doesn't respect the be punished, comrade. About the referendum, the frustrated Sako group is afraid and are starting to gnash their teeth against you and some leaders. And one other thing that we must try harder to fight, the Bamileki, and send them out. Please, please, take this as a matter of urgency. We cannot thank you enough. Comrade, keep up with your team. God will see us through these days. These days, no network or no light. That is our situation now. And blah, blah, blah. All right. Well, thank you. It's a really long piece there. At least you listen to me read it. Okay. And okay, somebody forwarded this to me from Cho Ayaba. Cho Ayaba writes, there will be no referendum in Ambazonia. Lazy politicians who have attempted to hijack our struggle. You see the problem here, ladies and gentlemen. He describes us as politicians, and this is the problem. The problem with the leadership of this Ambazonian struggle, because they don't see themselves as freedom fighters. They see themselves as politicians. Ayaba Cho just stated that here. He says there will be no referendum in Ambazonia. Lazy politicians. Comrade, I am not a politician. I am a freedom fighter. I am an activist. That is who I am. And so politicians want to keep doing the merry-go-around, because you know the politicians always want to turn out on top, right? That is why they do what they do. That is why they do what they do. So they want it in the way that it turns out they are on top. They are in charge. They have the final say. That is no longer a liberator. That is not the spirit of a liberator. The spirit of a liberator is that which has no interest, has no ambition, but the fulfillment of the mission. All right. I won't finish reading that. It's not necessary. Thanks for the show, President Chris. Please, please keep up the spirit. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to call it here, and want to believe that this has been inspiring and educative. I look forward to coming back here next week with some very, very spirited interviews with people. I would like to bring people onto this show beginning next week, people from countries that have conducted referenda in their countries, to give us a little piece of education on how the conditions look like. But until then, I remain your comrade in arms for a free and independent Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia. Have a great night.